Hello and welcome to Modalities Movement Therapy. Today we are going to be unlocking rotation, so giving the body the freedom to move. One of the most noticeable changes of myofascial release is an improved range of motion. So today, with the use of a myofascial peanut, if you don't have one of these, then you can put 2 tennis balls inside a sock and just make sure the sock is securely fastened. And a soft reflex ball. Like if you don't have a soft reflex ball, a tennis ball will be useful for some of the exercises. So we're going to get started in standing, and you're going to take that myofascial peanut and we're going to slowly roll the foot out. Focus on the arch of the foot. So I'm bringing the lateral part of my foot onto the center of the peanut, dropping the arch of the foot onto the one side of the peanut or the tennis ball if you're using a tennis ball, and just rocking or seesawing that foot forward and back. You can then start to roll along the entire length of the foot from the big toe to the heel. And if you're not feeling many trigger points, you might want to just reposition the foot onto the center of the peanut so the big toe is rolling right along the inside of the peanut. So play around with the position of your foot. Once you've given it a good release, drop the heel onto the mat. Position the ball of the foot onto the peanut. So you should feel quite a good stretch up the back of the leg. To increase that stretch, I'm just going to stand sideways or at a diagonal. You can bring the feet slightly closer together. If you're taking too much strain in that calf, open up the space between the feet. Let's reach up into a lateral position. So we're breathing in into our lateral side, and you're going to rotate. Exhale. Slide the fingers down behind the leg and bounce the forehead towards the knee. Bounce into that stretch, lift the toes up as much as you can, and then breathe in and open up. Okay, let's do that. Release to the other side. So position your foot and play around with the position of the foot. When you're ready, bring the other foot as close as you can to increase that stretch up the back line of the body. Breathe in. Circle the arm, rotate, reach down to the calf, and roll down, bouncing into that stretch. Then breathe in and uncurl. Good. From there, just put the peanut to the side. We are now going to use some self-massage techniques to release the fascial tissue to create more movement in the lower back that will help release pain and tension. Take the thumbs and the index fingers and pinch the fascia and the skin between them. Move up and down around that lowest part of the spine. Now take a step to the back of your mat, circle your arms as you breathe in and roll down through the spine. As you do that, think of this area at the lower back as a key area for hip movement and stability. It is a strong multi-layered tension-transmitting connective tissue structure that connects the upper and lower half of the body. Now bring yourself into a seated position, and we're going to test our knee box position. So your legs are at a 90-degree angle. Rock over to the other side just to test that side and how that feels. We're now going to release the glutes with that high-density foam peanut. So sit on the high-density foam peanut. Bring it parallel to the spine, just slightly lower down. So you're sitting on the glutes and you're rolling that peanut from the spine towards the lateral part of the leg. You can rock around onto your elbow and get right onto that lateral part of the leg. We want to engage these glute muscles, so give them a good release. What you do to one side, go up and over and repeat to the other side. Just give it a nice, slow and steady release. Rock onto your elbow if you need to, and get right into that area that we're going to work just now. Come back into your supine position and bring the peanut in line with the hip bones. We're going to release that area a little bit more. So you're going to breathe into your arch and you're going to exhale to your tuck. So that high density foam peanut is sitting on either side of the spine, and we're releasing that lower back area again. Remember that dysfunction here can lead to pain and stiffness and a decreased range of mobility. So we want to try and get as much release into this area so we can move it in those rotational positions. Continue to arch, breathing in through the nose and exhale as you come into that tuck position. Work nice and slowly through these movements, letting your breath follow your movement. We're now going to bring the peanut parallel to the spine, and you're going to go back into that release. So the bottom half of the peanut is on the glutes, and the top of the peanut is in line with your hip bone, working along that sacroiliac spine where we often carry a lot of tension. Cross your ankle over your knee if you want to. Any tightness and tension in the hips, then just keep your foot next to your other foot and continue to move along that area. Repeat the release to the other side. If you find you don't have a lot of tension there, then you can just play around with the position of the peanut. Move that peanut up and down until you find those sweet spots that need some attention and some release. You can remove the peanut, and we're now going to bring it along the base of the skull, along what's called the occiput ridge, in line with the earlobes. Hold on to either side of the peanut because you don't want that peanut rolling down the neck. You need to keep it on that line. Moving the head from side to side and shearing the head. So you're sliding the head from side to side along the peanut. You can nod the head a few times, just getting a little bit more movement into it and maybe a little bit deeper into that release. We're now going to bring the peanut underneath the rhomboids. This is quite a sensitive area. These are the muscles that retract the shoulder blades on either side of the spine. So you're going to slowly breathe in, back into your arch position, opening up, and then exhaling as you come into your tuck. Continue moving into that arch and tuck, and you can add a little bit of a bounce into it if you want to get a little bit deeper into that release. Slow and steady inhalation. As you exhale, try exhale pushing that lower back firmly into the mat. Continue going, and once you're done, you can bring the knees to the chest and release that peanut. We're coming back into our knee box position. So take your hands onto your shins, or you can bring your hands behind you, open up into that knee box position, and you're going to bring the peanut underneath your ankle. Bring the reflex ball underneath the arch of the foot. We're getting into that deep core line and into the lateral side of the leg. So you can keep the peanut there or you can release it. So working on the big toe, the arch of the foot, and along the inside of that leg, along the deep core line. Before we move up the inside of the leg, you're going to sandwich the ankle between the peanut and the reflex ball and circle the ankle. Release that Achilles tendon and get movement into the ankle. Continue pointing and flexing as you move the peanut up the lateral part of the leg and the ball along the deep core line. If you're not comfortable in that seated position, in the 90 position, then you can bring that other leg up or extend the leg to the side. Continue working up the inside and the lateral side of the leg. You're moving up towards the knee and giving the deep core line in the lateral side of the body a nice release. When you move up to the knee, you're going to play around with the position of the peanut underneath the knee. But take your time to release the lateral part and the deep core line. When you feel tension, focus on those areas. Now you're moving the peanut around the knee, and I want you to find those trigger points, those sweet spots, and where you find there's more tension, you focus on that area for longer. Now you're going to sandwich the knee between the ball and the peanut. And again, just make sure you're getting the most release. You can move that peanut around as you continue to sandwich the knee between the ball and the peanut, giving it the most release. Now continue moving up the inner thigh. You can work in circular motions from side to side, up and down. Get right into that hip area. Move around as much as you can. You can put the ball to the side, and now we're going to work up along the lateral side of the leg. So where that ITB is, that thick band of fascial tissue. Use your hands, you can bring them onto the mat and try and work nice and slowly, getting as deep as you can into that area. You're going to go back onto the glutes. We did focus on them a little bit earlier, but they need quite a bit of attention. So just give them a little bit more attention in this release. Now what you do to one side, make sure you go over and you do to the other side. Stay in your knee box position to the side that you've just released, and we bring the hands behind us. Push the pelvis and the hip forward. So you're getting movement into that hip, into that lower back and that area. You're going to breathe in. Now as you exhale, you're going to push into the mat, and then you're going to rock over to the other side. Now move the other hip and push forward, pulsing the hip forward. Now you're exhaling, you're lifting that knee, pushing the front knee down, and then rocking over to the other side. So see it from this angle, pushing that hip forward, breathing in. Take your arm as far back as you can, so you're getting some movement into the shoulder as well. Tuck into that position and rock over to the other side. You will find you're going to shift forward, just pulse yourself back as you need to. Exhale into that tuck position, lift the back knee, keep the front knee down as long as you can. Breathe in and pulse. Keeping that shoulder back, so opening up across the shoulder, the front of the shoulder. And pulse again. Look over that shoulder and continue moving and rocking from side to side, really opening up into those positions. Now holding onto the elbows, staying in that knee box position, we're going to rotate to the back leg and coming up into a twist. Breathing out as you drop, in as you come up into that rotation. If you are taking any strain in the knees, or the hip for that matter, double up the mat, bring the legs parallel but stagger the knees, and you're going to continue the same movement but not sitting down all the way. You're going to come halfway down, breathe in as you come up into that rotation, and continue. If you are moving up and down in that seated position, now I want you to hold it in the lifted position and make the movements smaller. So you're just hovering off the mat as you come down into that rotation. Finish off, so you're repeating it 8 times. Holding it up in that lifted position, the front leg you're going to bring across in front of that knee. So we're going to open up a little bit more into the hip. And you're going to breathe into your arch position and breathe out to your tuck, really activating those core muscles. You should feel the glutes working, and you should feel a nice release along the deep core line. If you're taking strain in the knees, then you're going to keep the feet and the knees parallel, so just on the hands and knees, and focus on breathing into your arch and your tuck position. Finish off in that rounded position, and you're just going to pulse that back hip forward, just loosening up in the hips. When you're done there, you're going to rock around and repeat the same thing to the other side. Hold it in that lifted position and keep the knees at right angles. Circle the arms up next to the ears. Breathe into a rotation using the front hand to push against the knee. Assist you getting deeper into that rotation. So you're going to breathe into the rotation and exhale as you bring your arms back next to your ears. This is a great one for activating the core muscles. Use your breath to assist you. Now repeat this movement 8 times to each side. Finishing off your last movement, we're now going to come into a lunge position, hands to prayer position. You're going to rotate again towards the front leg, and challenging your balance, you're going to extend the arms and rotate a little bit deeper. Breathing into the rotation, exhale to the center, and now you're going to open up the body. And again, I want you to breathe in and open up as much as you can. Then exhale to squat, bring the hands back to prayer position, rotate first, then you're going to extend into that rotation, challenging your balance again. And coming back to center, reach the arms up next to the ears, breathing in, and exhale to squat. Continue this movement, and you're going to alternate from side to side. Continue rotating and reaching and lengthening into these movements and alternating to each side 8 times. Here is an additional or alternative option for those rotations in the lunge position. You're either going to take your foot up against the skirting or higher against the wall, and then take your hands to opposite shoulders, rotating from one side to the other. This is also a great challenge on the balance, and this is going to help activate those core muscles as well. Use your breathing and repeat to the other side, either on the skirting or up against the wall. Breathing into your rotation, exhale, and breathe into rotation. Finish off those rotations, wiggle the hips a little bit, step to the back of your mat and roll down through the spine, walking forward and coming onto the mat. With the soles of the feet together, the knees wide apart, glue the soles of the feet together and keep the knees wide. Don't be tempted to bring them together. We're activating those core muscles. Those glutes are going to work hard to stabilize you. Give yourself some space. Rest your ear on your arm and rock over to the side, letting your feet hover. Squeeze the glutes. If you can, bring the palms together. If you need to use the hand, keep the hand on the mat. You're now going to rotate up and over to the other side. Feet are hovering. Once you have your balance, then take your top hand off the mat and bring the arm next to the ear. Otherwise, keep that top hand on the mat to help stabilize you. But all the work should be coming from those core muscles. You're reaching into that lengthened position, breathing in as you rotate the body up. Hold it for a second or two. Lower yourself down, nice and controlled, and repeat the same thing to the other side. Once you've repeated those a few times, you're going to push back into your child's pose. Rest your rib cage on your thighs. Knees are apart, feet are together, and focus on your breathing. Nice, slow, steady breath. And on your last one, breathe in as you uncurl through the spine. And we're going to finish off in a supine position, feet flat, knees bent. And again, breathing into arching. Exhaling to your tucking, engaging the glutes as you tuck, repeating that movement, just loosening up in the lower back. Now try and extend your exhalation for a little bit longer, and we're going to breathe into that thrust position. Lower down. We're going to add on to this movement a progression, so stay in the lifted position. Use the elbows to push and assist you coming a little bit higher into that thrust. Now you're going to reach to the opposite diagonal, again coming into a rotation. Use the elbows. Push off the other elbow and reach the arm across to the diagonal. Lower yourself down and repeat that from the top. Breathing into your arch. Exhaling to your tuck position. Push into the elbows. Thrust the pelvis up and reach up to those diagonals. Exhale to the center and inhale as you reach to the opposite side. Let your movement follow your breath. Exhale and lower yourself down, and repeat that movement as many times as you need to. Once you've finished, have a nice big yawn, stretch, pandiculate the body, cross the ankles, rock from side to side. And move the body around. Just give it a good release and stretch. Rock yourself up to a seated position. Well done, and thank you for joining me.